Greetings and salutations, YouTubers. This is Zillafan85. Back today doing my latest video. I've got a figure review, and for today we are going to go ahead and review my Y-MSF Varan figure, or Varan, whichever you prefer. I usually call him Varan, so pretty much going to go with that for the video. I did previously review my Gashapon Varan figure, which I definitely really did like that Gashapon one, but I just really wanted a standard size Varan figure in my collection, and unfortunately you're not really going to get them in great abundance. Bandai, I don't think, has released any, not to my knowledge. You do have a Trendmasters one, which is a very rare figure, hard to find, but it also, like with most Trendmasters, it's a very stylized design. I want one that's more movie accurate. And otherwise, as far as larger figures go, they have the X Plus one, but again, that's X Plus, so that's a larger figure, not more in the standard 6 to 7 inch range, which this Varan is in that in that 6 inch range basically. Just not height-wise, but length-wise more so. But anyway, though, so like I said, so that's why I just really wanted one in my collection, and thankfully Y-MSF does have that good knack for releasing a lot of kaiju that don't have a wide variety of releases. So this guy came out. It was released by Y-MSF years ago. I know, obviously, this is a rare figure now. It's going to definitely be a pricey one, but one that I was really happy to add to my collection. Like I said, I do like Varan a lot. Obviously, this based on his original appearance from the 1958 film Varan the Unbelievable, which I do like. I've really only seen the dubbed version. I heard the Japanese one's not much better. The only thing I don't like with the American version is that they changed his roar and such. It doesn't have that signature Varan roar, which is also was reused as a sort of tweaked version for Baragon, and an even more tweaked version for Gorosaurus. But nonetheless, though, I do like that roar a lot. And the film itself, I know not a lot of people are super crazy about it. I like it to a degree. It's not one of my favorites from Toho, but I do like it, and I was glad to add it to the collection. But like I said, Varan, definitely a kaiju that I really like. I wish that we would have gotten more appearances from him, because really, elsewise, all you're going to see him in is Destroy All Monsters, just basically a brief cameo in there at a couple points. The battle on Mount Fuji, and at the end of the film, when they were, just looking over the island with all the kaiju basically living in peace at the end. So, and then, you really didn't see him again. It's unfortunate. Toho did have some plans for him on a couple different occasions with films, but it just never came to fruition. Of course, most noted was going to be the original storyboard for Godzilla, what became known as Godzilla, Mothra, and King Ghidorah, Giant Monsters All-Out Attack, or most noted as GMK. But originally it was going to be, instead of Mothra and King Ghidorah with Baragon, it was going to be Baragon along with... oh, that was my phone. Sorry, folks. It was going to be Baragon along with Varan and Anguirus, and I really, really wish that we would have gotten that instead. It's definitely unfortunate. Nonetheless, though, just the rarity of this kaiju itself, it's just really nice having a figure of him in the collection. I think Y-MSF did a great job, so we're going to go ahead and take a look at it now. I know I've been running on here, so let's go ahead and start with the paint job right off the bat. You see, it does have the signature sort of paint scheme for Varan's body. He's got a pretty basic paint. It's like a sort of reddish-brownish color that he's got all over his body, but they did include like some highlights. You can see some sort of light light, almost tannish color highlights around his body. You can see on the underbody here, so mixed in with that reddish brownish color. So just to kind of make it pop a little bit more, you know, and make it stand out. And I think it was a nice touch. I think they did a good job. So you can see the highlights on his face and going down his back along with his spines. Speaking of the spines, they're done in this sort of, I don't know what I would call, almost sort of like a bronzish color. You know, I wouldn't really call it brown or anything. It's almost like a tan or like a bronze color for the spines, the spikes on the back, going along down his tail, so you guys can see those there. You got these sort of, all these horns on his face, which are, well, these ones here are more done in that sort of tannish, bronzish color, but then the ones on the side here are more the reddish, brownish color, so you guys can see those there. Just want to make sure you guys can see them on the camera. So, looks really, really nice. The claws on the front legs and the rear legs, as you guys can see, again, have more of that sort of like a tannish bone color about them, so you guys can see those there on the feet, front and back feet. And then otherwise you got the eyes, which again, these sort of small pupils that he's got, sort of like a brown and black sort of paint, sort of scheme for the eyes. I'm trying to get this to focus. So yeah, he's got sort of like these brownish, blackish eyes. I think they did the molding in. I don't know if that's 100% suit accurate or not, but I think it looks good nonetheless. It definitely gets the job done. So, so that about covers it for the paint job. Like I said, Varan's pretty basic as far as paint goes. For detail, again, I think Y-MSF did a really nice job. Varan not super scaly, but he does have a lot of bumps and just you know, a lot of bumps and wrinkles all over his body, and you guys can see that there as long as my camera picks it up, which I hope it does. It seems like it is. So you can see all the lines and the bumps on him. Very bumpy kaiju here. So again, you can see that, and a lot of grooves and sort of wrinkles and such. Probably some of that is attributed to the suit, because they do try to be fairly suit accurate. Y-MSF does, so that's definitely one thing to note with them. And I think, like I said, I think they did a really nice job with that. The spikes, you know, the spines are the spikes that go all the way from the from his head all the way down to his tail. They're like these very sharp, thin spikes, which are basically indicative of his film appearance, or appearances, I should say. It was basically the same design from Varan the Unbelievable and Destroy All Monsters. These are very sharp, so if you do touch them, just be careful, because these are pretty darn sharp, and you don't want to hurt yourself. And also because they are thin and whatnot too, you don't want to mess with them too much, because you don't want to run the risk of breaking the spikes here. So you know, just be very mindful. Again, this is a rare figure, so you want to treat it with care. Which I recommend treating any of my figures with care, whether they're rare or not. But just saying to be extra cautious, word to the wise here. So the horns on his head also very thin and very pointy as well. Really nicely done there. And of course on the side of his face, those sort of flap horns that he's got, I guess you would call them. Looks really, really nice. I really like the job that they did with that. And then here, again, all the wrinkles and just that nice detail that I captured on his face. It's got, some people said sort of like a squirrely looking kaiju. I can see that in a way, but I do believe he is supposed to be more of like a, you know, reptile or like a dinosaur or something like that. But I do believe he is a reptilian either way. But he does have sort of a squirrely look, so I can see that for sure. He's got that sort of rounded snout here, and they captured the look really well. I really do like it. It's basically like closed mouth here, but you can see some of the teeth protruding. Paint-wise, they didn't really do much. They didn't really paint them in a different color other than like the reddish brownish color. I'm a little bit surprised with Y-MSF because usually they do take more care with the teeth. I'm surprised they didn't stick to more of that claw color, but they're still sculpted in, so you guys can see him there, and I still think it looks good. Definitely does capture his look. So really, really nicely done. You've also got the membrane flaps included right there on his sides, which he uses to glide. They're really nicely done, really textured well. You can definitely feel the texturing on them. They look really, really good, I think. Legs, again, have all the wrinkles and the bumps on them. Definitely looks movie accurate, in my opinion. The feet on both the front legs and the rear legs look very good. Definitely like what they've done here. I think, like I said, I think Y-MSF does a really nice job with their figures. I was definitely, I ended up getting a bunch of Y-MSF figures in my collection. I'm really happy to have all of them because I know some people are hit and miss on them, but I happen to love Y-MSF. And then, of course, you can see, too, the labeling on the bottom of the tail as well there. You guys can see that, the copyright Toho there, made in Japan, Y-MSF, so you guys can see that. And of course, so too, looking at all the detailing on the underbelly and the bottom of his tail and whatnot here. You guys can see all that, and all the nice bumps and ridges and wrinkles and everything. Looks really, really good. So, at least in my opinion, it does. Anyway, so that covers it basically for paint and detail. Only other thing that we're going to look at here, because like as many of you do know, I don't really mess with sizing too much. Like I said, this is like a would fit in, because it's hard to measure since he's on all fours, but it basically would fit in with like your, your 6 to 7 inch figures. So just to note that. Then, like I said, for articulation, there's really not much on him. You've got the front legs here, which looks like they've got a glue seal, I think, because mine don't move. I don't know. I don't recall other reviews that I've seen on him if theirs moves. The tail does rotate. They say you can go all the way around, but it'll have a tendency to pop off, so I wouldn't recommend it. But you can rotate the tail a little bit at least anyway without it getting, to the point that it's going to pop off. So you can do a little bit with that. And the rear legs have a little bit of articulation as well. You can rotate them, but not a lot, though. They're limited, because if you try to rotate them too much, again, you're going to run the risk of these popping off. So, but just to show you guys that you can get a little range of movement on the rear legs, at least here. So, that pretty much covers it. Like I said, the front legs, at least on mine anyways, seems like those are glue sealed, so I'm not gonna mess with breaking glue seals. So that's pretty much gonna cover it for the articulation. Like I said, basically standard size figure, 6 to 7 inch kaiju figures will size in with him. And he looks really, really good on a shelf, at least in my opinion. Again, Y-MSF, you can find, I have seen some of these on eBay, that's where I got mine, but these are very, very pricey. I mean, you're talking, maybe a few $100s. I mean, that's basically what I paid when I got a hold of this guy, because he is a very rare figure. So just be aware of that when you're going into it. If you want to go the route of maybe just buying the Gashapon one, those are in abundance, and you could probably get those for under $20. But if you want a standard size Varan figure, maybe you don't want to go like the larger size to get X plus. So really, your other option is Y-MSF. Like I said, you can find them. just got to beware that you are going to be paying quite a bit for him because he is rare. But he's an awesome kaiju, and again, I think Y-MSF did just a top-notch job with Varan. And I certainly recommend it for anybody who's in the market and wants to add him to the collection. So I think that does about wrap it up for this review, though, folks. I would definitely like to thank you so much for watching. If you would like to subscribe, please feel free to do so. If you would like to like and or comment on any of my videos, please feel free to do so as well. And just remember, until next time, ladies and gentlemen, you be good to yourselves, and sayonara.